I'm Julia Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you guys all about the super traumatic waitressing experience I had back when I was working in Massachusetts. Get ready because it's just going to be a roller coaster of trauma and craziness. So pretty much the place where I was working at was back home where I'm from in Massachusetts. Irish Hooters is how I would describe this place because it was also a restaurant and families did come in sometimes. It should have been closed down by the health department way before I worked there. This was about 5 years ago, back when I just turned 21. To get started, we have the owners. The main owner, we'll call him Fred. So Fred was very, very heavy. Probably over 300 pounds, and all he did from the beginning of the day to the end of the day when we closed, went from when we opened around 11 a.m. to last call around 11 or 12, was sit at the bar and drink. So let's say you're a patron of this place and you had an issue with your food or whatever and you need the manager, which we had issues all the time. Imagine you see your waitress going over and talking to the manager and he's sitting at the bar doing shots. Like, you're seeing this happen. And then he just looks over and rolls his eyes at you. That was the situation with this manager slash owner. So not only that, he would just drink himself silly all day long. And the drunker he got, the nicer he got. So he would always be in a bad mood when he came in. But then he would get progressively nicer like throughout the day, throughout the night. So the worst things about this guy were, one, he never tipped the bartenders, like his own staff. So the bartenders would be running him drinks all day, comped obviously, and he just wouldn't give them anything. Not only that, but he one time drank so much Sambuca, he was drinking about a bottle of Sambuca a night at the bar, that he actually had a heart attack. We didn't see him for about 2 weeks. We didn't know where he was. He had had a heart attack from drinking too much Sambuca, so we just didn't have a manager for 2 whole weeks. The doctors were like, yeah, you have to stop drinking a bottle of Sambuca every night or you're gonna die. So that was the situation with the owners. Then, just to give you an idea of what a mess this place was, then we had the bar staff. When I was waitressing here, I did not get along with the bar staff whatsoever. Then there was one bartender in particular that I hated. He just hated his job. He was like in his 40s, like too old to be doing this, and he just made all our lives because of it. So for example, one time, and this is so disgusting, but we had like a patio area where people would sometimes drink on the patio. So we had this couple, they were sitting on the patio like having a drink, and he would not make my drinks. Like, there was no one else in the restaurant, and he was just not making my drinks, and the like liquor laws or whatever, I wasn't able to make the drinks. I don't know, he had to make them because he was the bartender, the only bartender there. So I put a drink ticket through and he would just not make it, and then I would have to go up to him and like, it would just, it was so frustrating, and he would just yell at me every time, like he didn't want to make the drinks. Like, what are you doing here? That's your only job. There's couples on the patio, they get like Bombay and soda. So I'm like going up to him and I bring the drinks out to them. And because they're on the patio, as soon as I put them down, a fly flies down into the woman's drink. So she's like, oh my god, can you please get me a new one? So I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, I don't expect you to drink the drink with the fly in it, even though I just brought it out. So I bring the drink back to the bar and I'm like, can you make a new one? Look, there's a fly in it. He snaps. He's like, I'm not making a new drink for that woman. That is one of the consequences of sitting on the patio. She should know that. Like, what, she's just supposed to drink the drink with the fly in it? What do you want me to do? Like, I can't go and serve to her. So he takes his little dirty, grubby hand. I hate this man so much. I'm getting mad just talking about him. Takes his dirty, grubby hand, puts it in the drink, scoops the fly out, and tells me to serve it. So yes, this poor woman had to drink this drink his hand was in because he refused to make a new one. I hated this man so much. That was the bar situation, the boss situation. As you can tell, this place was a mess. And they did eventually get shut down. For those wondering, please don't go researching them and like leaving them 100 bad reviews, because they did eventually get shut down. And then we have the kitchen staff. So we had one worker in the kitchen that was just an idiot, and I feel bad saying this because, you know, everyone has redeeming qualities, but no, this guy, he was just had no brain cells left at all. So he would be in the kitchen. We're gonna call this guy Bob. Bob just had just nothing up top. I don't know what was going on. I don't know. He just liked to smoke weed and not do his job either. The main quality about Bob was that he didn't like being in the kitchen. So he would, if it was slow, he would go sit at the bar. He would come out of the kitchen and go sit at the bar and like have a soda and chat. So the patrons would just see the freaking kitchen staff just sitting at the bar. Like, that's normal, so normal. And of course we had no management, so it was just like a free-for-all. One time it was slow and he was like, if you need me, come back and tell me. So I was like, okay. I figured he would stay in the kitchen, like he had that much of a brain, but no. I put in an order for 3 steaks. And it's taking a while, there's no one in the restaurant, the people are like, where's our food? So I'm like, let me go check the kitchen. I go back, there's no one in the kitchen, like no one. Bob had left. There's a hostess that's supposed to be on, she's driving into work. At this very moment, my phone dings and I get a text from this hostess. And she goes, hey, what's going on? You'll never guess what I just saw. So I texted her back and I'm like, what? And she's like, I was driving into work, I'm about to be there, and all of a sudden I see Bob dart across the street, across traffic, from Wendy's back to the restaurant. So this whole time this family is waiting for their food. It took nearly an hour. He's at Wendy's, like he's in a kitchen full of food. He had to run across the street during his shift to the Wendy's. Meanwhile, these people are like waiting for their food. Like, what's going on? The whole kitchen staff was so bad. I had these people come in. It was like a mom and daughter one time. They ordered a pizza. Our pizza comes frozen. They served the pizza to them. It was frozen in the middle. Like, how inept are you? You work in a kitchen and you can't make a frozen pizza. That's how bad the kitchen staff was when they weren't sitting at the bar. Not only that, but Bob pulled just the worst stuff. One time we had this family come in and they ordered fried calamari as an appetizer. So you know those little green peppers, those little like vinegar, those nasty little banana peppers that they have in fried calamari? You know the ones I'm talking about, the little like green pepper rotini thingies? So ours came, our fried calamari came chopped, like the squid and the peppers were all deep fried together. I bring it out to them, not but 5 minutes later they complain. I'm like, what's wrong? They're like, well, this fried calamari you served us, there's no calamari. It's literally, you served us just a plate of fried banana peppers. Just banana peppers. So I look and I'm like, what the hell? So I bring it back to the kitchen and I'm like, what's going on? And Bob looks at me and he goes, I forgot to take the squid out of the freezer this morning. So I just fried the banana peppers and hoped they wouldn't notice. He hoped they wouldn't notice there was no calamari in their calamari, and these people wouldn't notice they were eating a plate of fried banana peppers. Make it make sense. Not only that, so the whole restaurant was just horrible. I hated working there, and the wait staff was like as awful as you'd expect as well. And when we weren't working, we were at the bar drinking. It was just a mess, but the customers were awful too. Think of the kind of people that would patronize this place. Rude customers, which is any waitressing job, but these people were like a special type of white trash that would come in. So the worst one I can think of was this middle-aged woman comes in and she's with like a group of people. It's like 3 guys, 3 women, 2 blondes, and then the brunette who's just a nasty. So the guys and the, like, 2 blonde girls ordered drinks, but of course she's not drinking because she's a miserable soul and she probably hates fun or anything that's to do with it. And I go over and I'm like, do you guys want to put in food, apps, whatever? And she's like, yeah, we're gonna do some apps. And then the most condescending voice, she goes, I'll talk slow so you can understand. Okay, thanks, effing stupid. Clearly you're stupid because you're the one eating in this dump. She's like reading off what they want. I'm like writing it down. And then she comes to, she's like, nachos. I'm like, oh, we're out of pico de gallo. Okay, what are you gonna do to make up for that? So we both just stare at each other like this. I'm getting mad just talking about this woman because I just hate her. I Oh, there's so many situations in life where you can't just like punch someone in the face, and I hate that. I don't know, do you want me to chop up a tomato? And she's like, why don't you do extra cheese and extra guac? I'm like, okay, fatty, like whatever, I don't care, sure. I didn't even put extra cheese in the system. I served it as is. I don't give, eat your nachos and be miserable, bye. So I served them the food, and then I go to bring ketchup. I notice like they only have one bottle, and I'm like, oh, there's 6 people, maybe they'll need 2 ketchup bottles. So I go get a bottle of ketchup, being the nice, kind-hearted soul I am, to try and make it like their lives easier so I don't have to share one ketchup. I bring the ketchup over, and she looks at me and she goes, I don't know what you think we're gonna do with that. We're already practically done. Like, just goes off of me, so I'm like, oh my god. I just like look like I'm about to freaking lose it. I leave the ketchup, and then what do you know, like her and her husband, like the other couples end up leaving at the end of the night. Her and her husband like stay over water, like just taking up the table way after it's time for me to go home. I literally just turned on all the lights to top brightness, hoping they would get the hint to leave. I forget if they ever left. I literally just clocked out for my shift and left. I think the closing waitress just cleaned their table. We got so many like crackheads that came in too. It was just bizarre. The whole restaurant, bar, whatever, was just bizarre. The worst experience though, or the worst group of customers, not even at this restaurant, but just the most unreal thing in my life and my working career, was the day someone was ratchet enough to have their bridal shower at this dump. No, folks, I am not kidding you. Someone had their bridal shower at this dump that was the most white trash thing that has ever happened to me or I've ever been a part of in my life. The ratchetry was real. This bridal shower started bright and early at 10 a.m. and of course, since management hated me, so they decided I would be the one to come in at 10 a.m. and help the bridal shower set up. Not get tips, because it's not like I'm getting tipped at this beginning this early until they start ordering drinks, or so I thought. So for $3.50 an hour at 10 a.m. First off, there's 2 women there. One is very pregnant. I'm gonna say like 8, like maybe even 9 months pregnant, definitely like 7, 8 months pregnant, very pregnant. The other woman is big and as ratchet and as white trash as you would expect someone having their bridal shower at this place to be. First of all, they had a DJ. This is like not a place that like a DJ should be at. Turned into like a DJ/dance area. So the first thing the woman says to me, I thought like I was gonna be maybe helping them set up. She points at the DJ and she goes, "That's my boyfriend Mike. He needs a Jack on the Rocks stat. It's 10 a.m. I don't know who needs a Jack on the Rocks at 10 a.m. But apparently this guy DJing this bridal shower did, and I would find out why after. Because I needed a drink for this bridal shower. That's how awful this was. So I get him a Jack on the Rocks. The girl who's 7, 8 months pregnant, goes, "Don't judge me, but can I have a glass of sangria?" Now, I don't know really the rules surrounding pregnant women and alcohol. I know that I think you can have like 1 drink maybe when you're pregnant. But our sangria, like she was looking at the menu, so she was reading the ingredients in it. Our sangria has hard liquor in it. I don't know if you're supposed to drink hard liquor when you're pregnant. I was like, yeah, sure. I don't know. I just don't care. I was like, whatever. I'm not going to fight you right now at this. This is so ratchet. So I get her to the sangria. People are coming in. They're ordering drinks. The favorite waitress comes in to like do the party, the food, and the drinks. I'm just there to set up because they hate me. And then I have to stay there the rest of the day and tend to the poor patrons who are witness to this horror show that was about to begin. They come in, and it's not only like, and the thing is they're drinking, but it's not an adult bridal shower like bridal showers usually are. They brought everyone that was participating in this, brought their kids. So now we just have like a bunch of kids running around. We have Mike the DJ who's like, this is the afternoon at this point, who's like drunk off of 5 Jack on the Rocks throughout like the few hours he was there DJing. We have the kids who just took the streamers and were just making a mess of the place. I don't know. I was so over it. I'm not anyone's parent, whatever. So this bridal shower, this mess of a party is going on. Now, it's like the doors of the dining room open up to the porch I talked about earlier with the people with the fly in their drink. So they're out on the porch, it's summer. One of the children of these people, clearly they inherited the bright genes these people had, decided to take one of the candles, like the candles we have to like get the mosquitoes off the patio, took one of the candles out of the thing and bit it. Bit the candle like it was a piece of cake, or this is how much of a savage this child was. This child took a candle and bit it. And no, this child didn't have like a disability. They weren't like a toddler. This was like a regular like 10-year-old kid that bit a can, somehow reached up into the thing and tried to eat our mosquito candle. I'm going to go ahead and take a wild guess and say this child was either the offspring of Mike the DJ or the pregnant woman drinking the sangria. So now we have the EMTs, the ambulance, come to take this child away to the hospital. The EMTs arrive like 10 minutes later after this child bit this candle. So you think that like would at least slow the roll of the party, if not end the party? No, these people, their roll was not slowed at all. The party kept on going like nothing happened. Like the ambulance just didn't show up and take a child away. They just kept on partying. So at this point, one of the bartenders, no, not the one that scooped the fly out of the drink, another one, they were all awful, let's be real. So walks over from, there's like two sides, it's a really big bar. There's one in the restaurant where like the poor patrons are sitting, and then there's one that's like in this dining area near the porch. Walks over, looks at everyone with his arms crossed, like surveys the scene, and goes, "What the is going on?" So loudly though that of course like the women who are standing nearby, Mike the DJ's girlfriend and pregnant lady, heard him and they go ballistic. So they call over Fat Fred the manager and Fat Fred's wife, who obviously have no control over anything that goes on in this restaurant or anything, definitely not this bartender. They call over Fat Fred and Fat Fred's wife and they go, "Fire him now, fire him now." No, he did not get fired because Fat Fred was not capable of firing anyone, and they just went ballistic. Again, it didn't slow the roll of this ratchet bridal shower that went on long after actually I clocked out of my shift at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I don't know what was going on with these people. It was definitely the most ratchet scene I've been a part of, and that's when I knew I had to leave this place for good. It was not good for my mental health to be in these situations. And actually right before I got fired, we had another incident of server drama where another waitress who worked there, who was a little older than I was, she was like a single mom, who was just wild in herself. She was always talking to these guys online, and she would always go in the kitchen and she'd be like, "Hey Julia, want to see the guy I'm talking to?" So I'd be like, "Sure." She would show me like a full nude of the guy, and then like nudes she sent him, just like casually like showing me her nudes in her phone. Like, dude, like I already want to throw up being here. Just stop, please. I don't want to see this. I'm already about to throw up being here. He actually got fired somehow before I did, which I don't know, because I had the worst attitude being there, by far. She somehow got fired because the bartender, I'm just gonna call him Dick at this point. We'll say his name's Richard, but his nickname is Dick. So Dick the bartender left his Ray-Bans, because of course he's a man that wears Ray-Bans, as you can picture, left his Ray-Bans under the cash register. She goes on to like try them on like they're funny, you know, like she's like impersonating him, and accidentally puts them, and I actually do think this was an accident, accidentally puts them in her apron, ends up working the rest of the day and walks out with them. Now of course Richard Dick, the bartender, had to make a scene about it. Instead of just asking her if she could bring them back, he told management, and this is the one thing management ever took seriously. Forget the patrons, this is the one thing management ever took seriously the entire time I was working there. Management told her to bring them back. She was fired. Meanwhile, she was the only one who took this job even seriously. She was fired, and if she didn't bring back his stupid Ray-Bans that were like the ugly kind, that they were going to press charges, because clearly Fat Fred's wife has the ability to do that, apparently, press charges over a pair of Ray-Bans, because that's what our police force should be concerned with over in Massachusetts, the Ray-Bans that were stolen. So it was such a joke, and I did eventually leave, thank Lord in heaven. Obviously this was an epically bad restaurant. Time to quit. I had to quit in an epically unprofessional way. At this point, it's like halfway through summer, I'm about to go back to school, so I ended up getting a job, like a hostessing, waitressing job at a slightly nicer restaurant down the road, just to finish out the summer. I didn't even bother to put in my 2 weeks. I had to show up for my first shift at the new nicer restaurant on Saturday. I figure I'm just gonna call in sick to this like crappy restaurant. I don't care if they fire me, and I do want to kind of keep both jobs as long as I can, just until I go back to school. I have this thing called Dollar Burger Night, and I would always put food for myself in the system when I was slow, because Bob and the other shady cooks would just make me food for free, because who cares? It was a freaking free-for-all, like whatever. So I put in an order for like this burger, like I didn't eat all day. I put in an order for like two $1 burgers with like all the toppings, fries, whatever. I'm like, whatever, I don't get paid enough to be here. I'm gonna eat as much free food as I can. And I go and I get the burger, and I sit in like the empty dining room and I'm eating. Well, what do you know, Fat Fred's fat wife comes in, and she's like, I never even seen this woman. She would like lock herself in the office doing paperwork, doing God knows what. She was married to Fat Fred, so I'm sure cry, I don't know. So she was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, eating. And she's like, you're eating, your shift hasn't even started, get out right now. Okay. So I just left my plate of food there, didn't even bother to bust it or clean up, just like left my dirty plate of food in the dining room, went, clocked out, but had just been paid my check, so they didn't owe me any money, clocked out, left, never went back, like never like formally quit or formally got fired, just never went back. Lo and behold, a week later, the hostess, the one who had texted me earlier, texts me and she's like, hi, what's going on? I came in to see the schedule, and your name is just blacked out in permanent marker, like on the schedule, like so mature. She just laughs. The restaurant did end up, thankfully, getting shut down by like the Board of Health, which they should have been long before that, and they were like serving underage people, so I think that's actually the reason why they got shut down for the most part. But definitely just be careful like where you eat, and this was just such a trauma-filled like roller coaster. I am so glad I'm not a server anymore. I'm actually going to be doing some more like server stories on my channel. So if you like this story and want to hear more story times about my past work experience and all the different horrible jobs I've had, definitely like and subscribe. Alright, bye guys.